perversion of having ruiners in place of rulers have come to be accepted by the people who actually do not believe that they have a duty or even the right to hold these ruiners accountable. So the concept of the rulers being seen almost as gods by those who should be citizens but have become ourselves and slaves resonates with me when I see the frustrations that the conscious mind living in Nigeria and not accepting of slavery goes through when we behold the victims who should be foot soldiers in the revolution or in any war of liberation to free them, constantly being the ones recruited into the armies of the oppressors, mouthing platitudes and explaining evil. You see them, it's easy to brand them but idiots and Buhari dignitaries and what have you, but those are our brothers. And the reality of the matter is that until their own minds are free, we ourselves cannot be truly free. So when I see these anomalies, I struggle to understand why those who should rightly be referred to as the Moses generation, the ones who saw this country before it became, I'm not even talking about that wasteful, lost generation. Our fathers, when I say our fathers, if you're a 60s child, or if you were born in the early 70s, your fathers, my father, they're all failures collectively. Horrible lot, wasteful, most wasteful generation, and they're still hanging around, wasting everything, killing every evil. And then you're my generation and you've seen this country pretend to have a glorious past. That was your childhood. How can you be helping them to explain and normalize the evil that is being built in front of them? I've been around for a while. I know when a country is descending into fascist dictatorship. And that is exactly what Nigeria has evolved into becoming. It is clear to me that with the coming into power of the president-elect of INEC, an attempt would of course have to be made to silence every dissenting voice. I welcome their attempts. It's a waste of time with me. As long as we have to pretend that we're in a democracy, I will not be silenced except by the truth. The truth will bridle my tongue and nothing more. You do what you think you need to do. I will do what I believe I need to do. So I have the loyal right to the NBC, and my position is very clear. I will not be silent, and I will test the laws if the NBC should fail to retract the nonsense that it placed in the public space, presuming to label a dog a bad name so that it might hang it. Because that would be the only reason why a government institution would allow itself to be so subverted and pressed into the services of men who will pass away as I will. And then they undermine the integrity of states and presume to curtail the right of its citizens. Yes, I know we are not citizens or treated as one. But as long as we have to pretend that we're a constitutional democracy, let me be clear, I will not be silent. If I am living in a country such as Nigeria, designated as the second most prayerful country in the world, behind Afghanistan. Afghanistan is essentially the model for a failed state. And that is in spite of the fact that it has only one dominant religion. Nigeria is the second most prayerful state in the world. I'm a Nigerian. I look all around me. And what I see does not suggest that the religion has any room for truth. So I ask myself, what do we have? Religiosities. What are religiosities? Generally outward manifestations of religious protestations and religious affirmation. So I wear a cross, but my life does not reflect the path of the cross. I carry my tesbih. It's almost as long as from here to Mecca, but my deeds are completely evil. The truth does not issue from my mouth, but I am constantly protesting God. I do business with my brothers and my sisters, and my measures are not just, but I protect the name of God at every turn. Obasanjo it was who first gave the concession for the reconstruction of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Babalaki. Somebody was challenging the veracity of my statement that it's taking 20 years to build it. Okay, so let me lob off 4 years for you lot. It's taking 16 years. I'm sure you would all feel much more comfortable now because at least it began since Yar'Adua's time, if nothing else. So it took that, take that 8 years, take the 8 years of the daughter that just left. What do you have? 16. It's taken 16 years to reconstruct an existing road. In that time, men have built cities. Men of God have built cities on that road. They have held men accountable in building what God has given them the vision to build. But they have continually demanded that we pray for those who are ruining the country and have been incapable of building, rebuilding, resurfacing an existing road for 16 years. Where is the truth of God? Exactly what is the place of religion in Nigeria? What is the role of religion in Nigeria? What is its purpose? I think it is in the Bible that Christ said very clearly, by their fruits you shall know them. With all the churches and the mosques in every corner of this country today, how has it become that evil has become so pervasive? Why isn't the truth convenient to speak like the clergy? I know there are tokens, somehow, but what has happened to us? How did we get so that almost all the principal offices in our country are occupied by less desirable elements in the society? Why is it the clergy that constantly works to explain these evils? Why? Why is it heavy to proclaim evil as evil? Why? To speak the truth has become an offense, to be deprecated even by men of God. How? How? What What are they saying in the houses of God that has allowed evil to become so normal? I noticed that some brilliant monkey or monkeys have spent time, invested their time in trying to brand me a madman. I welcome it. If you are not mad in the midst of this insanity, then if you are normal in the midst of this, you are not normal. What is going on with us? The capacity to do the things required to make our country what we need it to be have already been deposited in us. They are not found in fasting and praying. You fasted and prayed enough. You've tithed and given enough offers. It is time to rise up. If the Redeemed Church can build that beautiful place called Redeemed City, Redeemed Camp, if the MFM, and I praise all of them, Canaan Land, the wonderful things that have been done within the faith community. If it can be done within the faith community, why is it so difficult to demand the same of those who rule us? If you will not employ a fraudster, if you will not employ a forger, if you will not employ a thief to run a branch of the church, can you, for the sake of God, speak out and stop talking about Saul will come before David? That's nonsense. And that's not a jibe at just him. It's a whole lot. It's just, look, is it not time that we demanded the same level of excellence with which we run the houses of God from those who will lead the country? Remember, religiosity does not build countries. Of what use really, at the end of the day, are your religious protestations when you would have failed to build a country to pass on to the next generation? Yes, you might build churches to pass on to the next generation, but those churches must exist within a country that is still functioning. For how long do you really believe? And I'm speaking to the church because I am a Christian. If you're a Muslim, speak to the Muslims. Speak to your clerics. These protestations of religiosity that has not landed us in any good place and delivered nothing to us makes no sense. Practice what you preach. Don't be monafics. The Quran is clear. Declare the truth of God. Why do you preach peace to the oppressed? Ask them to pray for their oppressors. Explain evil. Make it almost a sin to speak the truth in your space. How do you profit from the affliction of those who are meant to be your flock? Whether that is you, an imam, or you, a pastor. How? So, the purpose of religion in Nigeria, as things stand today, is to render the people supine, make them amenable and available for exploitation, normalize evil. That is what the religiosities have achieved. Look around you. Are we anything close to what we protest? As a people, as a collective, it's easy to focus on the pastors, but it's about us. Nigeria, Nigerians, and religiosities. Because of our protestations of religion, because of the way we've conditioned our minds, people come to us bearing names that affirms their protestations, and we don't look to their fruits to determine whether they are truly who they say they are. So if the person says he's a Christian, automatically that's the person you must vote for. Or your biases and prejudices are automatically activated against him. Or the person says he's a Muslim, and of course you embrace him. He's your brother, a fellow Muslim, even when he might never even ever pray or have any understanding of who the Almighty God is. Yet, he's your brother. He might condone all the evil in the world. He might even deploy evil in pursuit of what he declares to you to be the purpose of God. The fact that Buhari was the president made no difference to their fate. The people in Zamfara, probably evenly spread between the Hausas and the Fulanis, is essentially a war-torn place. The fact that Buhari was there for 8 years made no difference. The insecurity that has turned the Northwest to bits deepened and took root during the Buhari years. Almost everybody of consequence in this country that were appointed into office by Buhari were Fulanis or largely northern Muslims. You're seeing the same error being replicated right now under the president-elect, Madam President. What do you see? Almost every office in the South, almost every office has been handed to the Yorubas. It is all an attempt to shore up the thinking that it is we are the ones, so that you build an hegemony on the back of the weaponization of ethnicity. The Ebora that they have installed in that rock cares nothing for God or any religion. He works with those he knows. It just so happens that the people he knows and largely trusts are the ones that were brought in by his consigliere, his erstwhile consigliere, Baba Gboworin, redeemed pastors. Too bad. It's not about religion for the bat. It's essentially about a family. And that family is simply godless. The God it serves is the God of their bellies and throats. And they serve their godfather. They don't care. When some pastor will go before the tribunal and say you can't affirm or swear by the Bible. So that tells you very quickly what you're dealing with. That same pastor will climb the pulpit and he'll be preaching. So let's be clear that all these religiosities only strengthen the chains of our afflictions. It makes us that much easier for those who are ruining our country to control. So we are the ones who have gleefully handed over the chains of our enslavement every time that we have clung to these religious asininities. Those who rule Nigeria are as attached to religion as you are. Do you think their children across the religious divides would marry as they have been doing? They don't care. It means nothing to them. It means absolutely nothing to them. And that's the truth. And this is why you'd find that the most ardently religious are the poorest in our society. That is the design of religion. The Nigerian religious establishment is not designed to tell you the truth. It is designed for political opportunities, both to the clergy and for the political class. But your religiosities are peculiarly your own. You are the one who needs to free your mind. Allow religion to be a pathway to your spirituality. Do not allow it to be the tool for the capture of your mind. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor, according to a man much wiser than me, is the mind of the oppressed. If you allow your mind to be captured to the point where you are busy offering supplications on behalf of those who are sodomizing you without the aid of lubricants, that's on you. It is not on those who are telling you the lies that you have embraced.